Davenport man has been convicted and sentenced for the shooting death of his brother. The judge read a guilty verdict to Wade Giddings for involuntary manslaughter. He gave Giddings a sentence not to exceed 10 years. That is tonight's top story. The trial started last Tuesday. 42-year-old Wade Giddings originally faced a murder charge for the shooting death of his brother Jevin Giddings during an argument back in 2024. Attorneys' closing arguments wrapped up last Friday. Shortly after that, jurors began deliberations that continued into today. Our Quad City's Linda Cook was in the courtroom as the verdict was read today. That must have been a very emotional time.
It was. I don't think there was a dry eye in the entire room because here you have a mother who has essentially, at least for the time being, lost two sons.
Right.
And she got up, Geraldine Giddings is the mother, and she got up and gave a victim impact statement very briefly in a very hushed courtroom. There were a lot of people there supporting her.
Okay. And
she sobbed as she spoke about this being her last child, her only child, and how she needed him to be at home. And it was very sad. She called it a tragedy, and so did the judge.
Oh, definitely losing two sons. And her impact statement, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, she just said that she's 65. She's never lived on her own before.
Okay.
And she really needs her son to be there because she has health issues. And as she spoke, and this was not rehearsed, this was done very quickly and off the cuff, she looked at her son and he sobbed throughout the entire proceedings today.
Okay. Now, he was convicted and sentenced in one day. Have you ever been in a courtroom where that's happened?
I have not. I know that it does happen once in a while, but attorneys on both sides decided that this would be the best.
Okay.
So this all happened within about 45 minutes. He was, the jury verdict was read, and then the sentence was pronounced. And once, I think people don't understand this sometimes, once a jury decides on a charge, then the judge has very little leeway.
Right.
So that is why the sentence is up to 10 years. However, he may do far less than that, depending on what the Department of Corrections decides.
Right, because he can do time served, and then I think sometimes they give you time. You get a day and a half for every day for good behavior.
Exactly. So I don't see him serving all that time. Still, it was sad to see him leave. And as he left, he and his mother were not permitted to hug.
Aww.
But she did say to him, "I love you," on his way out.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, you may not know this, but I'll ask, do you know why it was moved from a murder charge to involuntary manslaughter?
Because the elements of the murder charge, the jury felt, weren't there.
Okay.
But the elements of involuntary manslaughter were
there. Okay, well, that's definitely a good thing because it was an argument that it transpired. So thank you, Linda, for being here.
Thank you.